Crown Imperials, the crowning glory. Hi, I'm Ian Roofe and welcome to Get Gardening. And on this video we're looking at planting some bulbs for wonderful spring colour, but not the usual bulbs we talk about, because in previous videos we've looked at how to plant up tulips and narcissi and things like crocus. But for this one we're looking at Crown Imperials, Fritillaria imperalis, a wonderful bulb for probably late spring, early summer colour in the garden. And as you can see, she's a plump bulb, but she's a wonderful thing, and I've always wanted to grow her and I never have. But I went to a local nursery and I found them in the bulb section, and it's a great time to be putting things like this in for the spring, now in the autumn. Now, if you don't know Fritillaria imperalis, it's a member of the lily family, so that may put you off a little bit because you'll have to treat for lily beetle and things. But it forms very tall single stems and it's topped by quite large bells in a coronet type shape, usually orange or red or yellow, and then on top of that you get a wonderful tuft of bright green leaves, and it really is a beautiful plant. Flowers at about 3 feet or a metre in height, likes full sun, part shade. I've seen them growing very, very well in sort of woodland edges and even in containers, and that's what I'm going to do with these. I'm going to try 3 of these in a container just to see how they go. This is my pot of choice, just an old chrysanthemum bucket that was my granddad's from many, many years ago. One of the very few buckets I've got left, but I shall keep it going. Crocks in the bottom, just a bit of old pot really. There's a good hole underneath, as you can see, and all that's doing is it allow the water to drain through, but it'll stop any sort of compost or anything else coming out of the bottom, okay? And in terms of the mix, well, it's very much the same mix as I would use for potting up many of my auriculas, which I have. So it's multi-purpose compost, it is John Innes number 3, and it's also lots of grit as well. So there's a bit of organic matter in there to hold on to moisture, but also lots of grit for drainage. Now the drainage is important, because if you look at this bulb, and you'll see not only is it starting to root quite beautifully, it's so plump and firm, it really is good, but you'll see it's got that recess in the top, you see? Now, the issue with that is that if we don't have good drainage, then water will sit in the top and it will rot the bulb before the spring, okay? But that recess is very important because that's where the new developing shoot will come out for next spring. So, I shall show you about this. We're going to put some of this mix in the bottom here, okay? And usually you want to plant sort of 2 to 3 times the depth of the bulb, okay? Now, they're going to be quite sort of tight in here, but not to the sort of detriment of the bulb. They'll just be snug really, and it will give me a good show. Then what I can do with this, I thought in the spring I might just plunge it in the border somewhere quite early on and just see how it gets on. It'll be a real splash of colour. What I'm also going to do, I've got grit in here, so I'm going to plant the bulb on its side, okay? So if you come in here and have a look, I'm going to nestle the bulb in like that, okay? Now, don't worry about that, it's not going to do any harm to the bulb. What it is going to do, it's going to stop water setting in the crown, so it's going to stop the actual growing point rotting. But what will happen is that the roots will go down and the shoot will go up, okay? It's what bulbs do, okay? Their roots are naturally drawn by gravity and their shoots are naturally repelled by gravity, so it will grow perfectly well, okay? So we'll put 3, and these are wonderful. I'm going to put 3 in there, nestle them in. Cover these up, simple as that. This lovely mixture. Okay, give that a tap down there. We'll firm in just a little bit. Leave a watering gap at the top. I'll whack a label in there just to be sure, because this is a named variety and it is Fritillaria imperalis garland star. So completely new for me. Large head of bright orange red bells on yellow ground. So that'll look fantastic. So it's going to be a mixture of all those hot colours, which we only really find from tulips at that time of the year, but something which is going to make a really interesting and worthy garden specimen. So give it a go, try your Crown Imperials and make them the crowning glory of your spring garden. So, a new oh God, yes. Oh, no. hello or hi? What's best?
Whatever you like.
Oh. Can I start now? Okay.